Airlines will hand you 11 things for free this year. Not discounts buried in fine print, not a credit card pitch dressed up as a tip. 11 real services already built into the ticket you already paid for. And almost nobody ever asks for a single one of them. Here's my honest take on why. Airlines aren't exactly hiding these perks. They're just never, ever going to volunteer them. U.S. airlines board more than 800 million passengers a year, and every service they announce out loud is a service that costs them money at scale. Silence is cheaper, so they stay silent, and millions of travelers our age fly for decades without hearing a word about any of this. Today, that changes. I'm giving you all 11, including the exact words to say at the counter to claim each one. Number 5 is probably sitting in your wallet right now, unused. And number 1 is a federal job title most gate agents hope they never have to hear out loud from you. Let's start at the bottom of the list and work our way up to the one that changes everything.
This one genuinely surprises people every time I mention it. Your son or daughter does not need a ticket to walk you all the way to your gate. Most major U.S. airlines will print what's called an Escort pass at the check-in counter for someone who's assisting a passenger who needs help getting through the airport. It clears security exactly like a boarding pass does. Your family member stays right there with you the whole way until the moment you actually board the plane. Here's how this typically plays out in real life. A son is helping his mother check her bag. He asks the agent about escorting her to the gate. The agent prints the pass in about 2 minutes. He carries her bag the entire way, sits with her at the gate, and waits until her name is called before he says goodbye. Most families fly together for decades and never once hear that this is an option, especially for someone our age who's flying alone and would feel a lot steadier with company at the gate instead of a hallway goodbye at the curb. Your defense? Ask at the staffed check-in counter, not the self-service kiosk, since kiosks can't print this. Bring the Escort's government-issued ID because the pass still has to go through security screening like any other credential. I'd like to request an Escort pass so my son can walk me to the gate. That perk buys you company all the way to boarding. The next one saves your shoulders the moment you actually reach it.
Here's what's actually happening in the cabin right now. Planes are fuller than they've been in decades, and overhead bins run out on almost every single flight, on almost every single route. That's not bad news for you. That's leverage. When agents announce the bins are full, they need volunteers to gate check bags for free. Your carry-on gets tagged all the way to your final destination. No bag fee. No lifting it over your head into a bin that's already packed tight. No wrestling it past boarding group 4 while everyone behind you sighs. You're standing there holding the exact same rolling bag you've hauled through airports for years, and the airline is quietly offering to carry it for you at no charge if you just say yes before they even have to ask twice. I'll be straight with you. I gate check by choice now on full flights, every time I see it coming. Your defense? Volunteer early, before the announcement even goes out, by asking the gate agent directly. Confirm out loud that the tag reads your final destination, not just your connecting site, and keep your medications and valuables in your personal bag, since that's the one bag that stays with you the whole flight. This one saves your shoulders. The next one fixes 6 hours of airplane food you were never going to enjoy anyway.
Most passengers never open this page of their booking. On full-service international flights, airlines quietly load free special meals. Low sodium, diabetic-friendly, gluten-free, heart-healthy. You request it through Manage My Booking at least 24 hours before departure. It costs you nothing. And here's the part people love once they learn it. Special meals come off the cart first. They're even 24 minutes before the rest of the cabin even gets their tray. If you're managing blood pressure or blood sugar, this stops being a nice-to-have. Order the low-sodium or diabetic meal for your next overseas flight, and your tray lands before the cart even finishes row 10. For those of us watching our salt intake, that's the actual difference between landing well and landing foggy and swollen. Your defense? Order online 24 to 48 hours before departure. Call the airline directly if the website won't show you meal options. Reconfirm at the gate, since meals occasionally get dropped off the load sheet at the last minute. That's comfort in the air. This next one is a federal right waiting for you at the gate, whether you know to use it or not.
Most seniors assume pre-boarding is reserved strictly for wheelchairs. It isn't. Under federal disability rules, anyone who needs extra time or assistance to board simply tells the gate agent and boards before general boarding starts. No doctor's note, no diagnosis, no explaining your knees, your hips, or your balance to a total stranger at a counter. You self-identify. That's the entire process, start to finish. It took me longer than I want to admit to learn this myself. I assumed it required paperwork, a form, something official. It requires one sentence. And your travel companion boards right alongside you. No separate request needed. Your defense. Tell the gate agent before boarding starts, not once it's already underway and the line is moving. You never have to justify a medical condition to anyone. Your companion boards with you automatically.
The magic phrase? I need a little extra time to board. I'd like to pre-board, please. Boarding early is the easy things. Here's the one that just onto the plane. 45 minutes. That's a brutal connection for anyone with knees like ours. And it becomes almost routine, almost effortless, the moment an escort with a cart is already waiting for you right at the jet bridge. Federal law requires airlines to provide free wheelchair and guided assistance from the curb through security to your seat, and then again at every single connection along the way. Not a courtesy they're doing you a favor with, a legal requirement. The assistance itself is free. A tip for good service is entirely your choice. Never an obligation, never expected. For travelers our age with tight connections between terminals, this single request removes the single worst source of stress in the entire flying experience. Your defense? Request the assistance when you first book your ticket, then reconfirm it 48 hours before departure. Ask again the moment you land at each stop. Don't just sit at the gate alone assuming someone remembers you're there. It covers every connection on your itinerary, not just your very first departure. The law walks you all the way to the plane. The next perk is about what you actually pay to get on it in the first place.
Here's something you will never find in an airline's banner ad. On United's website, there's a passenger type menu almost nobody ever touches. Select over 65 and senior players depend on the routes that still carry them. On other carriers, those exact fare codes still exist. Only the reservations agent on the phone can actually see them. One phone call is the only difference between paying full price and not. I've watched this play out for years. The senior fare didn't die out completely, it just went quiet. Airlines kept the codes alive for the markets where retirees genuinely still fly in large numbers and simply stopped advertising it everywhere else. Banking on the fact that 5 minutes before you book, never need to ask. Your defense? On United, choose 65 plus as the passenger type the moment you start your search. On every other airline, call reservations directly and ask outright. Always compare the senior quote against the standard web fare before you commit to either one. The magic phrase? Is there a senior fare filed on this route that isn't showing online? Quick question for you. Which of these first 6 have you never once asked for? Drop the number in the comments below and grab the free printable version of this entire checklist linked right in the description. And if this is genuinely helping you plan smarter, go ahead and hit subscribe now, because the second half of this list is even more valuable than the first.
This is the one I think is the most underused perk on the entire list. Millions of travelers over 60 are carrying a credit card right now that already includes airport lounge access, and they have never used it, not even once in years of flying. Travel cards bundle lounge networks or discounted day passes as a built-in benefit. Quiet seating away from the crowded gate, free food, free Wi-Fi, Real bathrooms instead of the airport kind. On a 3-hour layover, that beats a $7 terminal sandwich and a hard metal chair every single time. Several airlines also sell day passes outright, with no membership and no elite status required. Sneaking into anywhere you don't belong. You already paid for this access in your card's annual fee, whether you've ever used it or not. Your defense? Open your card's travel benefits page tonight, before your next trip, and actually read it. Ask the lounge desk about day passes directly if your card doesn't already include access. And remember, layovers over 2 hours are when the math genuinely works.
Your defense? Open your card's travel benefits page tonight before your next trip and actually read it. Ask the lounge desk about day passes directly if your card doesn't already include access. And remember, layovers over 2 hours are when the math genuinely works in your favor. That perk lives quietly in your wallet. The next one only opens up after the cabin door has already closed. Yes, flights are fuller than they've ever been. That's exactly why you ask the crew directly, not the airline app on your phone. The seat map on the app freezes the moment boarding begins, but the flight crew controls the actual cabin once that door shuts, and no-shows happen on nearly every single flight. The only people who actually know which seats stayed empty are the ones standing in the aisle in uniform. A quiet, polite request after boarding fully completes, especially for comfort reasons or a medical need, succeeds far more often than most people our age ever expect it to. The passengers who make a scene about it get nothing. The ones who simply ask kindly once tend to get moved. Your defense? Wait until boarding has completely finished before you ask. Never ask mid-boarding while the aisle is still full. Ask quietly and give a real reason. Legroom, aisle access, a knee that genuinely needs to stretch out. Accept a no gracefully if it comes. Crews remember courtesy, and it tends to follow you for the rest of that flight. Empty seats are luck. This next one is a written commitment. Empty seats are luck. This next one is a written commitment airlines truly hope you never learn to quote back at them. Here's something no airline is going to explain to you while you're standing at a dead, dark gate with a canceled flight on the board. When a delay or cancellation is the airline's own fault, crew scheduling, maintenance, anything within their control, every major U.S. carrier has committed in writing to a meal voucher after 3 hours and a hotel room for stranded overnight. Those commitments aren't the secret. They sit on a full dashboard publicly for anyone to go read for themselves. And since late 2024, federal rules now require automatic cash refunds, not vouchers, when your flight is canceled or significantly changed and you choose not to accept the rebooking offer. Nobody at the counter hands any of this to you automatically. You ask, and you watch the entire tone of the conversation shift almost instantly. Your defense? Ask directly whether the delay was controllable. That specific word is what triggers the airline's written commitments. Request the meal voucher and hotel directly at the desk. Don't wait for it to be offered. Refuse vouchers outright if you're not planning to accept the rebooking. Say cash refund instead, clearly. The magic phrase? This was a controllable delay. I'd like the meal voucher and hotel your airline committed to on the DOT dashboard. That's real money back in your pocket. The next perk is about what your body actually goes through on the plane itself. Most seniors have no idea that certain seats are legally set aside specifically for them. If you can't lower yourself over a fixed armrest without real difficulty, the airline is required to seat you in an aisle seat with a movable armrest instead. A fused or immobilized leg qualifies you for greater legroom. A companion who assists you must be seated directly beside you at no extra charge, even on the very cheapest fare class you booked. The airline is not allowed to resell the required accommodation back to you, disguised as a preferred seat upgrade fee. You call the airline's accessibility desk, describe the need, not a diagnosis, just the practical need, and the seat is arranged before you ever set foot in the airport. For someone with our years of wear on the hips and knees,
This is genuinely the single most comfortable phone call in all of AirTag. Your defense. Call the accessibility desk at least 48 hours before departure. Describe the need plainly. I can't lower into a middle seat is entirely enough to tell you. Never pay a seat fee for an accommodation the law already guarantees you for free.
And now, the one perk I made this entire video for. The federal referee standing quietly behind every single gate agent in America. Every U.S. airline is legally required to have a complaint resolution official, a CRO, available at every airport they serve during every hour they operate. This is the specific person trained and legally authorized to settle disability and assistance disputes on the spot, immediately, no waiting for a supervisor's shift to start. The gate agent tells you no wheelchair is available. Pre-boarding gets denied. A required seating accommodation gets refused. One sentence summons someone whose entire job, by federal law, is making the airline follow the rules, in person or by phone, within minutes. Most gate agents go their entire careers hearing this specific request only a small handful of times. That's not really a request at all. That's a protocol. And it belongs to every single traveler our age who simply knows to say it out loud. Your defense? Use this when an assistance right is actually denied, not for a fair dispute or a seat upgrade disagreement. They are required to connect in person or by phone, right there on the spot. Stay calm. This itself does all the work for you. The magic phrase? I'd like to speak with your complaint resolution official, please. After years of watching travelers our age quietly pay for things their ticket already covered in full, here's what I can tell you for certain. Airlines aren't hiding any of these perks from you.
They're simply waiting patiently to see whether you already know to ask. But asking only gets you as far as the ground. There's a second list. The free upgrades flight crews hand out quietly once you're already 35,000 feet in the air. And most passengers over 60 never see a single one of them in their entire lives. It's on the screen right now. See you there.